Hi, it's another inspired episode of Good Fat Life here today, and I'm really sorry we got distracted by our new theme song. It is just
Rockin' theme song.
it is.
Awesome.
It just was like, okay, come back. So my guest today is Jim Gilligan of Snedicor's Cleaners, and you've heard me talking about Snedicor's Cleaners and how they are a really big part of my self-care. I love that I can just set the yellow bag out on my front porch, and 2 days later, my clothes show up, and they're clean, they're ready to go. And like I was just saying to Jim, I sent some things out, some favorites. I mean, I keep my clothes forever. I tend to buy good quality, but one of my favorite blouses has some stains, and I was hoping that you can get them out. And in this case, they didn't come out, but I know that I have this confidence that every effort was made. If it was possible to come out, you would have gotten it out, right? Mm-hmm. And so now, because we talk about sustainability, I'm looking at dyeing it to cover the stain, right? So being creative. But one of the reasons that I'm so excited about having Jim as my guest today is we were talking about changes that they've been making at the cleaners and the things that he was telling me about our environment, sustainability, ecosystems, and things that they're doing. I was mind-boggling, right? It's so tell us. I mean, what's happening?
Well, for many, many years, we've been a green dry cleaner.
What does that mean?
So we use no toxic substances in any of our cleaning methods. Our dry cleaning method is the GreenEarth cleaning solution. And the GreenEarth cleaning solution is made from liquid silicone, which is manufactured from sand. It's basically liquefied sand. It's non-toxic. It's not a groundwater contaminant. It's not a VOC. In fact, if we had a plate of it right here, a little dish, and I poured some in it, and we came back in a day, you'd have a pile of wet sand. Yet it looks just like water, and it feels like lotion. It's like a mineral. It feels like a mineral oil, and in fact, we're probably all have it on us right now because it's been used for decades in health and beauty products, deodorants, and cosmetics, and so on.
And it cleans your clothes.
It cleans your clothes, in my opinion, better than the bad stuff. And, of course, we're not exposing our employees to the bad stuff. And the clothes actually last longer because it's a gentler clean than the bad stuff, which tends to be very aggressive.
And then also the bad stuff tends to, like when you wash your clothes, talk about that, because that was fascinating to me, the particles that go out into the water versus what you do.
Well, as far as the dry cleaning side, what can happen is that if a cleaners is using the toxic substances like perchloroethylene, you can actually get that item home, take the bag off of it, and it can be off-gassing that toxic substance into your home environment.
And so, so we have choices. I mean, it's just so cool that you are doing this and people just don't know.
Yeah.
So then what happens like when you wash your clothes versus sending your clothes out to be washed?
We also have wet cleaning, which is basically similar to dry cleaning, but it uses water. But in our instance, it's the Harmony wet cleaning system, and it uses a organic soap made out of camellia flowers as the detergent. And somehow that breaks the surface tension of the water and the clothes. We can do wedding gowns. I could do this suit. You could do that blouse, because there are basically two types of stains. There's the water-soluble stain, and then there's the solvent-soluble. So like greases and cosmetics and oils are the solvent-soluble. Most foods, grass stains, so on and so forth, are water-soluble. And then we have a catch filter on the regular laundry side too, so that we're catching a lot of the particles that would normally go back into the water, into the watershed. Right?
Yeah. I had no idea that there were so many and that it made such a difference to the environment.
Most people have in their bloodstreams these days lot of microplastics. And microplastics get into the food stream not only, but mostly from washing. Like a fleece jacket can give off like 90 million particles of microplastics. And those microplastics are endocrine disruptors. They can give your body, your hormones in your body signals to do things like store fat or, even worse things. Yeah. See, we're bombarding our bodies these days with chemicals that our bodies didn't know about for the last 300,000 years or however far back you want to go on our human existence. And now we're bombarding them with all kinds of crazy chemicals.
And so just washing your clothes contributes to that.
It can, because it goes right back in. It doesn't get picked up by the filters at the wastewater treatment plant, and it goes right back into our watershed.
Wow. So tell us, so I notice that my bags now are coming back with a new bag, and there's this wonderful little QR code that, I didn't really pay attention to until you mentioned it. And then, so let's scan it and see what happens.
All right. Johnny, we're going to scan that video right now.
Ecologic, the global commercial organization representing Eco-One in the plastics industry. Can you imagine a world without plastics? We don't think so. But plastics pose a unique environmental challenge. In the US, for example, less than 7% of all the plastics used gets recycled or composted. The rest, 28 million tons of it, ends up in a landfill. Imagine one massive landfill filled with 366,000 Boeing 767 airplanes. Eco-One aims to increase the useful life of a landfill while providing a source of clean, renewable energy. It's an organic additive that enhances biodegradation in plastics in biologically active landfills. It's like nothing else in the marketplace, scientifically tested and validated. Plastics made with Eco-One look, feel, and perform just like any plastic normally would. But when they're tossed into a biologically active landfill, these plastics act much differently than normal plastic. Landfills, for example, are full of active microbes that eat almost everything except traditional plastic. These microbes, if they have access to the core of the plastic, would feast on it. Plastic is a good source of food and energy for these microbes. Eco-One provides this access. Most of us don't have a PhD in chemistry or biochemical engineering, so let's make it simple to see how Eco-One works. Traditional plastics repel water, but with Eco-One in them, they attract moisture and microbes present only in disposal environments. Eco-One then makes sure these stick to the surface of the plastic. Moisture expands the plastic, making room for more microbes to enter the plastic. Microbes are constantly secreting enzymes. These enzymes act as signals to attract more microbes. In fact, now these microbes find plastic a delicious feast, enhancing the biodegradation of the plastic through the actions of naturally present living organisms. The result of all this is the plastic now breaks down into its primary organic matter, which shows up as humus, rich soil, methane, which can be converted to energy, and carbon dioxide. Remember, Eco-One is a non-starch-based, simple, and cost-effective solution to help you join the Ecolution.
Oh my gosh, Jim, I had no idea.
Right? It's I've been researching biodegradable poly bags for years because that's one big area in this industry that's still lagging, and that's the one-use plastics, single-use plastics. Unfortunately, in our industry, the only option that had been available for years was so-called biodegradable, but if you read the fine print, it had something like a 90-year half-life in a landfill.
Gosh.
Yeah, which...
That's not very biodegradable,
No, I mean, I guess
right?
it's better than 1,000 years or something, but still. Where this Ecologic, which I just discovered, and this is our first order, the Eco-One Poly actually has an organic additive in it. And when it comes into contact with the environment of a landfill, the moisture, actually, plastic is moisture resistant. Water rolls off of plastic. It doesn't have any effect on plastic. The special additive allows the plastic in, or the water in, and the microbes that are in the landfill, the microbes eat up everything in the landfill except plastic. They can't access plastic.
Okay.
Now, with the additive and then the water that's the natural moisture in the landfill, it basically opens pathways for the microbes to get into that plastic, and they secrete enzymes once they're feeding on something good, and that sends a signal to other microbes, and they break this down into plastic's key components, which is basically like rich soil, humus as it's known, methane, which the landfills these days capture to reuse for renewable energy, and CO2.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's so by sending your clothes to Snedicor's cleaners, you're actually contributing to a healthier environment in the big picture.
We do continue our sustainability quest to make us as environmentally friendly as possible.
Well, I love that. Watching that video, it was like it gave me hope in the sense of, because we hear so much about climate and the environment and sustainability, but there's the fact that there are these options available.
Right.
It's kind of like, oh my gosh, there are things that we can do every day to improve the environment.
Yep. And as business owners, we have a much bigger impact typically than individuals. And the thing that really struck me in that video was statistic that in the USA, only 7% of plastics get recycled or composted. The rest go to a landfill. 93% of plastics go into landfills.
And it doesn't break down.
It doesn't break down. Not
Right.
in a long, long time. Not fast enough. So this additive can get added to any plastic. So hopefully they'll start adding it to water jugs and water bottles and so on, and turn that plastic into methane that we can use to power our power plants and rich soil.
Oh my gosh, that's exciting, actually, isn't it?
It's very cool. Yeah,
it is very cool.
I felt so good when I opened that first package. It arrived. I've been working with this vendor since November, getting it all the plates and everything worked out. Our first shipment arrived on Earth Day 2024. Oh. Not planned at all, so it was perfect.
That is perfect.
Yeah.
So, what other things are you noticing about? Because you've been in this market, I guess, this niche. You've played in this area for many, many years.
40 years.
40 years, right? And so, what are you seeing changing? That's so the chemicals, the solutions that you use now, the products that you use are all sustainable, right? And so you do that. And how are you noticing any differences in people's use of clothes or buying of clothes?
Absolutely. Like today, my people were like, "Are we having a blanket sale?" And I said, "Not now, but there's one coming up." We're getting so much more bedding these days. People, I think, are, after being home so long for the pandemic, realized, that bedding, really, it's nice if you clean your bedding, comforters every 3 months or so. So we're seeing a big shift towards sort of home laundry stuff, like a comforter, like a king down comforter. There's no way you're going to fit that in your washer at home anyway.
Right.
But now we're getting all kinds of blankets and quilts and bedspreads and so on. The second one is personal laundry. We call it wash, dry, fold. It's just your socks, underwear, T-shirts, just the stuff you would normally do at home. We're now doing upwards of 300 pounds a day.
Wow.
And it's growing. So I think people are realizing, and I think this is all goes back to COVID. People first, they were sort of locked in at home, and they started noticing, the drapes look kind of dingy. Hadn't noticed that before. And man, my comforter, how often should that get cleaned? But they also started sort of reprioritizing what was important in their lives. And clearly laundry isn't up there for a lot of people. And they would just as soon send it out. They get it back nicely packaged, all folded, just ready to put into their drawers.
Right, right.
Yep.
Well, and I hadn't thought about bedding, but you're so right, because comforters don't fit in the washer.
Yeah.
And there is something, we wash our sheets every week, but to just thinking about the comforters, it's like that needs to be clean too.
Yeah.
Right?
And we've got a lot of customers now actually sending their sheets because they go to a hotel where they press the sheets, a nice hotel, And so we've got customers these days that are getting laundered and pressed sheets. Yeah.
Because they can.
It feels like that hotel experience.
Well, and as we're looking at kind of our priorities, and we focus on self-care so much at Good Vet Life, right?
Right.
Those can be simple ways to prioritize how you feel.
Exactly.
And there's something wonderful about getting into a bed at night that you feel good about.
That's right. And you're prioritizing your time. We only have so much time, so many heartbeats in this life. And what are your priorities? And if you can pay someone to do your laundry or take care of your lawn care or something, then
right. I find it just makes my day. It took a big stress off of my getting ready for things. I tend to kind of put things off to the last minute anyway, and I'm like, oh, I got to get out of the house, right? And so there's a comfort knowing that I always have stuff in my closet that's ready to go.
Well, the magic is the yellow bag behind the finished order there. That's a nylon bag. It's reusable. That's what the orders come in, and that's like autopilot for your clothing care. So you don't have to have a yellow bag to get started. You can send your first order in any disposable bag that you have, but when the order's returned, you'll get that yellow bag, and then you can either schedule your pickups or be on a regular service like you are, and you just know every Tuesday and Friday I can have that bag out, and it's going to get picked up and returned the following Tuesday or Friday, and meanwhile, they just delivered the order they picked up 3 days before. So my goal, besides sustainability, is just to make it as convenient as possible. So between the QR codes on the yellow bag and on the biodegradable bag, and of course, we're 100% pickup and delivery, streamlined website. We've got a new customer experience on our point of sale system that you'll get to through our website. We make it as easy as possible so that you can focus on the important things in life.
Well, you do. I mean, it's like I can't imagine life without my yellow bag, right?
Yeah.
I mean, literally,
Yeah.
it's like it sits there in my closet, and so when something needs to go, I just throw it in, and I'm done.
Yeah. Do you have a hanger hamper from us? One of the hanger recycling hampers?
I do not. I didn't even know you had one.
Well, they're a cardboard, 3D. Rectangular shaped, and it's for putting used hangers in. They went out of production for years, and slowly but surely, all of ours got you. People were like, didn't want to give up their hanger hampers, but we've got them again now, and that's my next initiative, is to get one to all of our customers.
Oh, that's awesome!
So that you can easily, you take that piece off the hanger, you've got that hanger hamper right there, so they're all nice and organized. When you put it out with your order, when it's full, your driver gives you an empty one, and we recycle or reuse all of those hangers.
You would think of everything, right?
I try.
You try. Well, good. So if you were, I always like to ask, if somebody's saying, oh, my clothes are kind of a mess and I don't even know where to start to getting some order, what would you suggest?
I'd suggest send a couple baskets of laundry. And most people, I think the average time for someone to do laundry every week is like 3 hours a week. So what can you do with 3 hours a week? So it's $3 a pound. Like a big basket is probably like $30 or something. Comes back just ready to put into your drawers, and that's going to free you up, and then you can focus on. We don't wear as much dry cleanable stuff anymore, but you can start focusing and going through go through your wardrobe. It's like, well, I haven't worn this in 10 years. What's the chances that I ever will? Well, you're like me. I keep my clothes forever too. I buy nice pieces and I wear them till they're threadbare. But, go through the wardrobe and winnow out what you don't love. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
And then just get into a process of just caring for each garment on a regular basis.
Yeah, and I have to say it's good. It feels good. They're like my friends.
Yeah,
they're my friends. They are part of my life.
Yep, and now your friends have their own valet.
What's not to love? Right.
She shows up in a EV van and picks up your yellow bag and drops off the order that she picked up a few days before, and you get a text message confirmation
right,
when they were
ready.
picked up.
And like I always like to say, is my clothes feel better than when they left, right?
Yep. Let's face it, when we're wearing clothes that we love, or we feel better too.
Right,
Yeah.
we do.
I know, suits are way down. You asked about the trends. Right. We do a fraction of the suits we did, especially 20 or 30 years ago. But when I'm in a suit, I feel like I'm on top of the world, and I get treated differently. It
is interesting how that works, isn't it?
Yep.
Yes, you're absolutely right. And I know through COVID, we picked up some, I don't want to say bad habits. We picked up some different ways of dressing.
Well, and I have the numbers to prove it.
Yeah.
Our dress shirt volume didn't really go down, nor did our, sport coat volume. But man, the pants, where did the pants go? I don't know what people were wearing, but they weren't wearing dress pants. Hopefully they're wearing something under the line of their desk, but yeah.
Sweatpants.
Yeah, hopefully.
Right? Yeah. So, well, on that happy note, I want to remind you to go to goodfatlife.com and check out all the cool stuff that we've got going on. We've got our happy 60-day happy challenge, our glow up challenge, and it is designed for you to take 15 minutes out of your day for self-care. And
Sounds amazing.
I don't care what it is. It can be filling your yellow bag,
there you
right?
Go. That's my vote.
Yeah, there you go. It just has to be something that you feel good about. It's you can get it in a hard, beautiful copy like this, or as a digital online.
Can I get that at Barnes & Noble?
Yes, you can.
What? You've made it to Barnes & Noble. That's amazing. Way to go.
Yes, you can. Yes, that felt really good. So, like you said, so thank you so much for joining us today, and Jim, thank you so much for being here.
Always a pleasure, Sherri.
And doing the work you do. It just, like I said, it makes my heart sing to know that the landfill is getting food to make gases that make the world a better place.
All right. Well, appreciate you, Sherri. Thank you so much.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Yeah.